Welcome back to the Fast Break. Friends, it is Thursday, April 16th, and the play-in tournament is roaring alive. Thank you guys for joining us today. Of course, as always, joined by Todd. Todd, I'm sipping well, it looks pink now, but it was purple drank, and I'm representing the Western Washington Vikings, national champions, D2 national champs from 2017. So we're coming with a little bit of heat today, not the heat that lost yesterday, my heat coming off my body. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm just drinking my black coffee and ready to talk some hoops, talk some playoff preview.
Yeah. More playing games last night. One of them quite the banger, and one of them not so much. We'll start off with the good game last night. A couple of legends going head to head that we had slightly previewed the other day. Did not think this was going to end up being as good of a game as it was. I thought the Clippers would kind of take care of business. They've been better the second half of the year, pretty healthy, younger. But you know what? The championship DNA of this Warriors team and Steph and Draymond absolutely putting the clamps on Kawhi the last 3 minutes of the game. Al Horford, NBA champion Al Horford, that is to you, making some crazy threes down the stretch of the game to kind of keep them in it. What was it, three of them in a row at one point, I believe?
Yeah, he hit
It
four
was
threes
just,
in the fourth quarter. He
yeah,
pretty much is the reason they
vintage,
won, him and Draymond.
vintage Al Horford last night. And KP is alive, apparently. So got a little bit from him as well, too. Looked like a better Warriors team than we had seen in since Jimmy Butler got injured, and they came out of it with the win. Absolute choke job by the Clippers, which we've seen many a times through many iterations of the team over the last decade and a half. So tough loss for them. The Clippers are out. The Warriors are now going to play for the eighth seed and see if they can sneak in the playoffs and get to play the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, Todd, kind of what were your thoughts on last night for both teams from this kind of weird one?
Yeah, it was a weird one. Steph went off in that third quarter, but it looked like he gave everything that he had left in the tank. I felt like by the end of it, he looked absolutely gassed, and then sat a little bit beginning the fourth quarter, comes back and just struggled to be able to get a shot off. Horford bails him out. Draymond turning back the clocks, but like you said, clamps on Kawhi in that fourth quarter. Maybe it's unfair because, he's generally an emotionless guy, but Kawhi looked disinterested in that fourth quarter and looked like he's like, we're not good. So let's just somebody else either win the game for us, but I'm ready to go. And, you would have thought based on Kevin Harlan's call, this was fucking game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. Candace Parker really showing Steph some love. Hey, I mean, you're the announcing crew. You gotta, build the game up. You gotta make it seem more interesting probably than it is. I thought it was a little cringe, the coverage of the Warriors over the last 24 hours or so, where it's like, can the dynasty, it's on its last legs. I'm like, the dynasty's dead, man. Like, the dynasty's dead. Like, I don't know. It was cool to see Steph pop off in that third quarter, but then seeing him in the fourth kind of made me go, yeah, man, he's too old to be carrying a team like this. I mean, you look at Kevin Durant, we haven't seen Kevin Durant carry a team like that. He's always been on some of these teams with definitely some other really good players. I mean, Steph with Porzingis, Horford, and Draymond. I mean, honestly, I feel like they should feel lucky that they were able to advance and that the Clippers just again choked it away.
Yeah, I mean it's almost like reminding me of the bubble Clippers where were like, yeah, we're actually not interested in kind of continuing on with this. Um, and it was a pandemic of Steph Curry threes in the third quarter. But
Those Warriors
yeah, it was
chants inside the Clippers building, that was giving me PTSD though. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like when their fans do that. It really, if you lose a series that's like a heartbreaker to the Warriors, you will forever hear that and be like getting flashbacks. Yeah,
Warrior.
Jalen, fight
Yeah,
back! Jalen, fight back! Don't get punked by
like
Draymond.
it's like one of those, Native American chants that like is kind of like spooky and scary, like a war chant or something that you're like, whoa, this is scary, like to intimidate the other crowd. But yeah, no, it gives flashbacks to 2022. Clippers getting flashbacks to mid 2000 when they thought they were gonna get a couple rings in there, and then the Warriors popped up and just ended all that for them. Great Steph performance, you're right. It did kind of look like it was the end of the tank for him, though. We'll see how much he's got. Luckily, they do at least have a day off so that they can kind of recuperate a little bit because they got a lot of old guys on that team. But if they're able to play like that again, I mean, if Steph has another great performance, which I can only assume that he will, he's great in these one-off games. And if Draymond can defend like that, like he did last night, like you said though, Kawhi did look a little bit disinterested. I was actually watching some of the highlights when basically just that 3-minute clip of when Kawhi was being guarded by Draymond at the end there. And I was like, yeah, dude, this guy's kind of like jogging around and not the most engaged. I'm like, dude, your season's on the line. Like, there's no reason for you to lose. You don't get a better pick. Nothing gets better if you guys lose. Like, you need to win this game. And honestly, it's a really bad loss for them. How they've been playing the last 50 games and how the Warriors have been playing the last 2 months, like they should not have lost that game, especially at home, where they do have a good crowd and home atmosphere, even though there were a lot of Warriors fans in the crowd. Still nothing compared to the wall. But it's just a bad loss, and I do think this should be a blemish on Kawhi Leonard's legacy. I think it should be a little bit of a blemish on it. I do. I think it was honestly embarrassing how he got defended the last 3 minutes of the game in a winner go home game. And I don't think it was nothing. I don't think it was nothing. Part of me will remember this at the end of the day when it's all said and done with Kawhi. There's going to be a little bit where I remember this guy kind of gave up.
A game.
It is
This
a
isn't
game.
2011 finals blemish on LeBron's legacy, but like,
No.
or honestly, there's a lot of other things that I would bring up that are negative with Kawhi before this. But yeah, I mean, I can understand what you mean by you're saying. I will remember this game. That was memorable that Draymond put the clamps on him like that. It really was because he couldn't really do anything. Unfortunately for them, Garland had fouled out, which they really could have used his ability to make a shot down the stretch. Yeah, weird Clippers season, weird Clippers year.
It's over now.
As Candace Parker said, winning is a skill. So, and they don't have it.
Whole organization has never quite had it. Yeah. RIP Clippers.
You there?
The 21 gun salute for them. Yeah, I mean, look, such a stupid year for them. Starts with
Reset.
aspiration and, all the scandal with that, and then starting off badly and trying to put it together and the James Harden trade. It seems like almost somewhat of a fitting ending that uh that it ended the way that it did. And we've come to accustom to seeing the Clippers seasons end horrifically and sadly. Okay. Moving on to the next play-in game, we have Orlando and Philly. Famously, last pod, I did say I thought that Philly was going to win comfortably, and they did end up winning by, I believe, 12. Let me double check this real quick. Orlando versus Philly. It's either 12 or it's 9. Yeah, it's 12. Okay, 109.97. Just Philly was pretty much in control the entire way there. I'm not sure if Orlando ever actually did take the lead. I think Philly had it basically from the beginning to the end there. There was a couple of moments where Bane got hot, and I thought maybe Bane could do it himself, but they never kind of actually crested over and took the lead from Philly. And so I never really felt like Orlando was actually going to win that game. It was still somewhat closer than I thought, but a pretty comfortable win for Philly. Todd, watching that last night, did you ever feel like Orlando was actually going to take the lead and win this game in Philly?
No, no, I didn't. A lot of Mosley over on the sideline, just gritting his teeth. Kind of doing a little bit of the.
Do you think Mosley got into last night after the game? Because we saw what he was doing pregame. He had his nose deep in some smelling salts. That was a bad clip for him.
Yeah, Orlando, Jalen Suggs wasn't good enough. I mean, their whole team. It's weird. We look at their team and it's like, man, Bankero, Wagner, Carter, Suggs, Bain, Anthony Black, De Silva. That's that's a good team. Maybe those guys aren't that good. Maybe they're just kind of overrated. All of them. Bain obviously popped off. Great game from him, but I don't know if Desmond Bain's your best player, which he is their best player. It's weird, Paolo complaining
Yeah,
about getting snubbed from the All-Star game. Buddy, you're the second best player on a fucking playing team. You're not an All-Star. Yeah, I think this is about what their season is. We'll see how they look against Charlotte. I think the last few times they played Charlotte, Charlotte's kind of wiped the floor with them. I was saying that if I'm Charlotte, I think I'd rather play the Sixers just because it's more their style to be able to get up and down. But man, you look at the Magic after digging a little deeper and seeing the last few times they've played Orlando, and Orlando's just really struggled to score. That's a lot of defensive rebounds for Charlotte to then get up the floor and make some threes. And I really don't think Kahn and LaMelo are going to struggle that badly from three again. I would expect them to be able to hit a higher percentage than they did last game. So I think Orlando's done. I thought they would win this game, but I think they're done.
I said it last pod. I was like, they're done. I watched the Celtics game. It's they're done. Like the coach is out. These guys are 1, 2, 3 Cancun. It is, and what's crazy is they don't have a pick, so they shouldn't be like, well, maybe we'll get into this lottery. No, they have every right to win. I mean, Bane played great. He was the one that looked like he gave a shit for most of the night last night. I don't know if he's worth 5 round picks, but based on the game last night, he's at least worth 2 to 3 first round picks. Paolo is awful. I'm starting to sell property on Bancaro Island. I'm not gonna lie. It is not 18 points, 7 of 22 for him. He was ass last
I
night.
need more
Franz,
rebounds from Paolo if
decent
he's going to play
shooting.
36 minutes. He only had 5 rebounds.
His proto he needs to look at the Tatum model. You need to be that.
He's not
You're
that.
not
He's
like
not as good of a shooter and he's not as good of a
he's
passer.
not.
I feel like people were like, the Magic, they struggle to be able to make threes. That's part of the problem with him and Franz together. So they had Bane. Maybe part of the problem is that the guys that they have in their ball in their hand aren't that good at finding open. Like they're not good at solving a defense. It's just kind of let me
Yeah.
drive into the paint and then I'll fucking throw a shot up or I'll jump up in the air and I don't know. I don't like their offense. Suggs, after we all loved him and his ability on defense, is he a starting guard? Is he? I don't know. I mean, 1 for 9, 1 for 6 from three, 4 points in 37 minutes. I don't know. I don't love his ability to either run an offense or get an offense settled or space the floor for an offense. If I'm the Magic, I'm seriously considering just Suggs and Banchero for Giannis. I think that's a get out of jail free card from them, especially if Giannis is willing to re-sign there, which I feel like would be. Uh, Dude, you're getting off the Suggs contract and the Banchero contract. Because that's the other thing that's crazy. They're all fucking in with this team. They are all in. Chips in the middle of the table. Banchero on a max. Wagner's signed a $200+ million contract. Suggs, Bane. There's no room. And if you're gonna get at least a I mean, that's more of a get out of jail free card than Milwaukee ever got.
Yeah. No, if I'm Orlando, I would push for that hard, and you can even throw in maybe another little asset as well too, like
Ooh,
Anthony
I
Black if
wouldn't.
you need
I
to.
would if I'm Orlando, I'm like, please everything except Anthony Black. He's the only thing that I like on that team.
No, he's good too. I'm just saying, like, if if the Bucks are like, we have a better offer, because there are going to be teams
Milwaukee
that
should
might have
want
better
Anthony Black.
offers than a superstar that, or not a superstar, but like a guy that may not really become an all-star again and sucks,
Yeah,
which is
no,
just
if
a
I'm
good
Milwaukee,
role
I'm pushing
player.
hard for Anthony Black. Yeah.
That's what I'm that's what I'm saying. Is like, if you're Milwaukee, you got to be like, hey, look, we'll find a
Yeah.
better offer. I want Anthony Black and Paolo. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously changes got to be made. I'm sure Mosley, I don't know when this pod will officially drop, but I can assume that he'll be fired at some point soon after, maybe even before we do our next podcast. So he's a dead man walking there. So there will be changes coming up. Just pretty much the biggest disappointment in the league this year. I thought they were going to be a top three seed in the East. That's also because I didn't think Boston was going to be there and whatnot. But yeah, just tough year. And I had a lot of Paolo stock, and I'm starting to back off of it because last night was really bad for him. And this whole team just
Franz was
offensively
bad
is not
too.
good. And so,
He's so much better.
yeah,
He's so
no, that's
much
what I
better
said.
when his
Offensive,
brother's
the
playing too. You
whole
ever
team.
realize that? When they're both playing
Mhm.
together, they have some sort of weird. Yeah.
German connection.
But yeah, man, super disappointing. And you got to think there must not be one guy on that staff that they view as a potential head coach, because I feel like a lot of teams would have been like, look, we kind of like this guy on the staff. Let's just move off Mosley now and see if this guy
Yeah.
has anything to finish out the year, the last 20 games. Because I feel like for the last month and a half, 2 months, it's been like, no, this guy's out at the end of the year unless they figure out a way to make it at least to the semis.
Yeah, there's no Missoula or Jordy Fernandez
Or
or
even like what the
anybody
Nuggets
sitting
did
on
with
that.
Malone, where they said,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? We're moving off him at the end of the year unless we win the title anyway. So let's just fucking do it now and have, I think it's Adelman's son, ended up stepping up. And then there was somebody else last year that got fired right before the playoffs. What was it? Memphis? Yeah, Memphis did that as too. That hasn't turned
Yeah,
out as well, but
Memphis
I
and
don't think that that's,
Taylor.
I can't speak to the coaching on Memphis. Feels like their organization just kind of changed directions.
Yeah, and I actually think that that guy got the short end of the stick because we've seen what's happened since then. I
Yeah,
think that guy was
Orlando
actually a
should
good
look at
coach.
him
I
since
don't know.
Malone is now at North Carolina. I thought Malone would be a perfect fit with Orlando, but seems like no, obviously.
Chapel Mike.
Chapel Bill.
Okay, on the other side, I really liked VJ and his shot creation last night as well too. I thought he was really shifty and dynamic. Looked like kind of the VJ we had seen at the first half of the year. He finished with 19. Maxi was fantastic. Other than that, just Drummond, good game for him. Thought he was pretty dominant inside. And surprisingly enough, that guy is only 31 years old. That's shocking to me. I thought he was Al Horford's age. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, that was shocking to me. I didn't actually think he was that old. I thought he was
I did forget he
34,
came into the
whatnot.
league as a teenager, because he has been in the league forever,
Yeah.
and also looks like old.
Yeah, I think it's the look
He
too.
looks
And
honestly like a kind of a black grandfather. Kind of nuts.
yeah, like, I would I look at him the same way as I look at Taj Gibson right now.
Right.
He's coming
Wow.
back for
Good
another
for
year.
him. You getting
Good for
those
him.
checks.
Keep ca
Yeah,
keep
exactly.
keep cashing those checks. He's not gonna get a
If
media
I'm
job.
Philly, though, I am a little nervous about the idea that, look, played 8 dudes, which, in the playoffs, people say, like, 8 guys, and it is a really important game. It's kinda like it's not quite win or go home, but it's basically a game 5 or game 6. It'll be interesting to see as they play Boston in round 1 if they can expand that rotation a little bit. Just because, man, I don't know if you can play in the playoffs VJ, Maxi, and Kelly Oubre each 40 minutes a game for in round 1. I mean, shit, if Missoula's doing that with our 3 best players, I'm gonna be upset.
Well, the good thing is that they'll probably only have to do it for about 4 to 5 games because that's how quickly I see the Celtics wrapping this one up. So yeah, Philly gets the 7th seed. We'll be playing at Boston, probably starting
No, they
Saturday,
play
right? Because
Sunday.
they don't have to Sunday. Okay, Sunday starting that series off. I mean, yes, that's a lot of run for those guys. I mean, you're potentially getting Embiid back game 4
I've had
or so.
appendicitis before. We haven't
Depends.
talked about this. I've had it before. Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
bring in an
yeah.
expert here. Our
I
head
was
appendicitis doctor, Todd Aykroyd. Todd Aykroyd,
I was
how
10
do you feel
years
about
old.
appendicitis?
It did suck. They did catch it before it, like, burst, so that matters.
So young.
I don't know the specifics of how serious it was with him, but, I mean, I don't know. I was kinda back. I mean, I went to the hospital, had surgery, was kind of back on my feet within 2 weeks. It's not a major procedure. Like, this is not him tweaking this. People were kinda like, wow, just another Embiid thing. It's like, no, this is actually like a fucking this guy's just, for lack of a better term, snake bitten, because this is just shitty. Like, it's a random thing that you can't prevent. Could happen to
Could
anybody.
happen. Could
Yeah, could
happen at
happen at
any
any
time during the
time.
year, and it happened
Right.
right now.
So, this is not as bad as
It's
if he tweaked his back or knee or foot. He'll back, and it's not gonna, like, no, anytime you go under the knife, it is a real thing. You gotta recover, he'll be, off his feet for a little bit, but it's not gonna impact his ability to, move or anything once he is back. The main thing is just being able to ramp up for the playoffs. I think, shit, if you're gonna get minutes like that from Drummond, having you know, if you can ease Embiid back into it. As a Celtics fan, I'm really unhappy that the Magic couldn't just fucking figure it out for one game, because I think I would have way rather played them. They're a way easier team to solve. Philly, and they didn't even get that good of a Paul George game last night. VJ did look good. It's just those guards. I mean, VJ and Maxi, I feel like that's going to put a lot of miles on Derek White here early, unfortunately. Now, I know you're saying it's going to be a 4 or 5 game series. I don't know. They're playing with house money. I feel like they're kind of going to be like, what do we have to lose? This is Boston and they're blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. And Kelly Oubre, some of those minutes that he might be putting on Tatum, I don't know. I'm just kind of, I got my guard up. But we'll see. I expect the Celtics to still win the series, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as the Magic would have been.
No, that's very fair. It's a much tougher matchup than Orlando would have been. I'm just not necessarily sold on VJ being able to come through. I think he'll probably have like 1 or 2 good games in the series, but I think he's going to be in a little bit of hell being guarded by, like the Hugos and the Derek Whites and whatnot. Maxi is certainly a matchup issue. He's going to get his throughout the series. And then we'll see. Yeah, but then the other thing is Paul George. Yeah, he can probably bank on him having 1 or 2 good games in the series, but they're going to be relying on Andre Drummond throughout this, which saves our ass because we have Garza and maybe a little bit of Vooch and Kata as well too. So we're kind of matching a weakness of ours with a backup of theirs. So that actually, I think, works in our favor quite a bit. Even if Drummond is playing good, it's still nowhere near the level of Embiid. So I think that's actually kind of a really nice break for us. And then, I mean, look, man, yeah, Kelly Oubre, great. He is a good, solid
Good
rotational player?
defender.
Sure, but like this is J yeah, he is, but I'm just saying, it's Jaylen Brown, it's Jason Tatum, and I think they got something to prove from this whole year and last year as well too. So, uh, I think will the games be close? Yes, but I don't think they're gonna be able to pull out
I think the
more
saving
than
grace, or I mean, again, not I don't predict Philly to win, but I do think it's going to be a tougher series if people realize. I think a big advantage for us is the bench. I think we have a way better bench than them, and if the bench can bring it, especially in this first round, that will be huge to save some of the miles on Tatum and Jalen. If we really want to make a real like a run at this thing and go far, we're gonna need them to be fresh, and putting hard playoff miles on them in round one is not going to be ideal. So hopefully the bench can play really well, and we can win a lot of these by 20. Yeah.
need those bench guys to step up in the first two games of the series so that some of the starters only have to play like 20-25 minutes and we can be up 2-0 going back to Philly without putting a bunch of wear and tear. I agree. That's a good call there. What's your
I think the Celtics are
prediction
going to
for the
win in
series?
7.
Okay.
That's a hot
I
take,
like it.
but
I mean,
I just
Philly
it's a rivalry.
Philly
It's a real rivalry, you know?
is. But Embiid himself said it's not a rivalry. They always kick our ass. Now, the last time the Sixers beat Boston in a playoff series was 1982, Todd. Neither of us were even thought about being alive. But then you could just say they're due.
Exactly. Well,
And
eventually
this would
they
be the
will
year to get us.
eventually
This is
win a playoff series. I don't know when, that could be in 2082, but eventually, I mean, even the Red Sox won the World Series.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna happen in the Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum era. Talking
Not
about
going to be in the
owning
Embiid
another
era probably,
franchise.
but
Yeah, it could be. Honestly, I'm so impressed by VJ. It could be in a few years when you're really getting the peak Maxi VJ combination. If you can draft like a really good wing or acquire a really good wing to go along with those guys and get some decent front court consistent play. It's a scary team going forward in the East for sure. Because I really like VJ.
it's crazy that
He's
Embiid
good.
contract kicks in next year. And Paul George is still like, yeah, it's a mess. What was I gonna say? I think that I'd rather just be wrong about my hot take saying it's going 7 than be chalk Celtics in 4, maybe 5, and then be fucking just like, I do think that this is gonna be a tougher series and people realize there's gonna be a couple games that could swing it. So it's probably a 5-game series, but maybe they steal a game or two and all of a sudden, or a ball bounces here or there, and now the Celtics are in a dogfight. But game 7, we're blowing them out.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. That'll probably be the series we talk the longest about because we're going to do our all NBA at the end of
We
this one. So
If
let's
we don't have
rip through.
time, we can
The,
hold off because and just talk about it when it gets announced. Because now that Cade, but let's just bring this up now. Now that Cade
yeah.
and Luca are eligible, that throws a little bit of a monkey wrench. I thought Luca would be maybe eligible, and then I could just drop one person from each team below. But like throwing Cade in the mix, which I did not think he would be eligible, that really throws a monkey wrench in it and really
Yeah.
distorts. I like to have a big guy on each of my teams, and now I'm like, well, is Jalen Duren? If Cade is first team, is Jalen Duren still second team? I don't.
I yeah, I had that exact same thought. I was like, I filled out my second team. I was like, ooh, a lot of guards on second team. Like this would not be an
Yeah,
actual NBA team unless we went real small. But yeah, the we'll see what kind of time we got at the end there. Okay, Knicks Hawks for whoever gets the winner of Celtics Sixers after the first round. This is going to be good. I'm excited for this one. This is one of the few matchups in the first round that I'm like, okay, this is juicy. I don't know how it's going to go. I could see the Hawks giving them all kinds of issues with the Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, uh, Kaminga, just young guys they have to run around out there. The Hawks have been obviously one of the best teams in basketball for the last 2 months, 2 to 3 months. And the Knicks, while a great team, have been kind of unimpressive at several times throughout the year.
Hey, they won the
I'm
in-season
excited for this
tournament.
one. I'm looking at they did. You're right. And then what's historically has shown that the in-season tournament champion has never won the NBA title. So you can basically cross them off of that list.
I love this matchup. I'm super excited for Dyson Daniels and Naw basically
It
being
kind of
the
mentioned him.
primary defenders on Jalen Brunson. I think that's what the series is going to come down to. If Jalen Brunson's in his bag and can get to his spot whenever he wants and is lighting him up efficiently, the Knicks are going to win this series. But if they can make him take the ball out of his hands a little bit, make him really work, wear him down, and then also make him shoot less efficiently, they're going to need a good series from Bridges, and they're going to need somebody from the bench to really probably step up. I still think the Knicks ultimately win it, but again, I could see this thing going 7.
I think it will go 7, but I do think the Knicks pull it out in game 7 in MSG. Just because the Hawks probably aren't quite ready yet. They might be next year. But I think this is gonna be a great series, and I think it's gonna go back and forth. And I could see the home team winning pretty much every game.
Hawks
That's
are
how I feel like this
dangerous
is gonna
next year.
go.
They'll have a full
It'll
season of
be
this roster. They'll get a little experience in the playoffs. Didn't even bring up CJ McCollum. If CJ McCollum could have a game where he drops 40, the big issue too is going to be Atlanta down the stretch. If it's a close game, sure they have the defenders for Brunson, but Brunson and Towns closing
so hard
games
as me.
versus CJ, yeah,
CJ.
that's tough. Or maybe Jalen Johnson takes a leap. Who
He's
knows?
just not
Maybe he
quite.
figures it out, but they don't usually go to him necessarily to down the stretch to like win games. It's more like just in the flow of a game you look and he's like 27 and 13 and 9.
Yeah. He puts up stats like he puts up stats that we haven't really seen in this era besides like Shea,
Tatum,
Jokic, Wemby, and Giannis. Like it's kind of nuts. And even Giannis doesn't quite have those assist stats,
Tatum.
but
Mention his name.
it's kind of crazy. It's kind of
Put
crazy
some
the stat
respect on
lines.
Jason Tatum's name.
Well, that's true. That's true. He's a triple double machine when he wants to
But
be.
yeah, I think that's a
Okay.
great series, and hopefully Atlanta at least pushes them to 7 or wins.
And you know what? I'm not gonna be shocked if Atlanta does win. Just because the vibes aren't awesome with New York. But when it comes to playoff games, it's about a closer, and Brunson is just about the best we got in the league as far as like just clear out. I got the ball. I'm gonna go get 2 points right here. And I don't know if anybody in the Hawks is quite ready for that, even though CJ McCollum has been to a Western Conference final and has had a great year. I'm just not quite ready to go there yet. Okay. Cavs Raptors.
The least
I
least
think
interesting
first of
series
all,
of basically the entire playoffs.
yeah, I want to say congratulations to the Raptors on overachieving this year. You did a great job. You made the country proud. You didn't pack it up and tank like a third of the league did. And I think you probably got maybe one punch in here where you still won back in Toronto because the travel's bad. But I think this one's going to be pretty quick, pretty quick. I think the Cavs, while it's not been the year that they envisioned, Donovan Mitchell always shows up in the playoffs. I think you're going to get 2 good Harden games. Use them wisely. They won't be in game 7. Hopefully, you get the series done before Harden turns into Harden, which this one should be. So maybe you get 3 good games out of him and you don't even need him for the fourth. And I just think they've taken a couple lumps, a lot more experience on this roster than Toronto has. And I just think they've kind of been waiting for the playoffs in a weird way. And so yeah, I'm gonna go Cavs and we'll go 5. I think the Raptors can get one in there in Toronto, but I yeah, I'm not super interested. This one will be like, oh, missed the Cavs Raptors game today.
It'll be those nights on like Tuesdays or Wednesdays where they have the 3 games, but it's like a 4, a 4:30, and then the other primetime game late. This will be that 4:30 game that people are like, "Oh, it's on NBA TV." Although I don't think they do. You know what's funny? People, I'll make those jokes. That I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think now with Amazon BC.
This is on
Yeah,
this is
right.
on Prime
That'll be the
Video.
new one, especially with the way that the playing games went for Prime, especially with the way that went for them. Go ahead.
Real quick, did you see in the game last night, every time Porzingis got the ball, they put like the video game circle around him and an advantage
Yeah,
flag on top of him? And I don't think I saw it for anybody else, but they did it for KP like 7 times. And I'm like,
I saw that
what
they've been
is it?
doing
What are
this. It's
we
some weird like it's like I don't know. I don't like it. I don't
it's
like
what
it.
they did. No, it's bad. It's what they did for the NFL. But they didn't like actually put a ring around a player and be like matchup nightmare. That would be like at the bottom they'd give you some stat that nobody give a fuck about.
Yeah.
But it's just Amazon trying to be
Yeah.
like, this
We're
is different.
stats.
We
We
have
have
more stats.
technology, but
Look
it's
at
like, hey, how
us.
about this? How about you figure out how to? There was a couple times last night where Al Horford hit a three, and Kevin Harlan's saying like "good" before it even fucking went in. I'm like,
Yeah,
great, that's fucking awesome. Also, yeah, the
yeah,
the the broadcast going out. I think a couple days ago. That I mean, that just can't happen. That just can't happen. So, yeah, that's gonna be the new NBA TV. With that said, I got the Cavs in
yeah.
probably 5. The Toronto home crowd is very good, and there'll probably be a game 3 down 2-0 where it's like they're basically fighting for their lives and they pull it out, and then I think the Cavs take care of business back home in 5 games, and then they'll wait and see who they get on the other end of it. I assume you think Charlotte's going to win tomorrow?
Yes, I do.
That Charlotte
Um,
Detroit series is going to be fun.
it is gonna be fun, especially because I mean I'm not gonna lie, I haven't looked at the stats since Cade came back, but he's definitely not like 100%, which leaves a crack in the door for Charlotte. So I just think it's going to be a competitive series. I think a lot of the games are going to be really close, especially with things slowing down in the playoffs and it getting more physical. Because Charlotte obviously wants to get up and down, but I think they're going to be forced to slow down a little bit just because of it's the playoffs, and that's just what happens in these games. So it'll be a little bit closer. Look, if Lamelo and Kahn can make their threes, they can probably have a chance to win this series. I'm not even kidding. I'm going to take Detroit in 6. I think Charlotte gets 2 games because I'm going to ignore the last game where clearly the lights were just too bright right off the bat for Khan. I'm assuming the coaching staff has a talk with LaMelo about, man, if you're 2 for 14, we're not shooting anymore unless you're driving. But who knows? He probably will never learn. And I don't know. I got a lot of respect for this Charlotte team because they played really good ball for a long time. Who knows? They probably shouldn't even have been in it because if Bam doesn't get injured. But you know what? They're playing with house money. Think they got nothing to lose. Think they'll take a game or two. That
Yeah.
Charlotte crowd's good.
I think Detroit either wins in 5 or in 7. I think if it's 5, it's like, oh, like the games were so close, but Charlotte just kind of blew it at the end. 7, if, Charlotte doesn't blow 1 or 2 of those games at the end, if that makes sense. I think this is going to be a really good
Yeah.
series because it could be one of those 5 gamers where 4 out of the 5 are really, really intense, good games. And it just comes down to, a play here, a play there, kind of like that Miami game, right? If it's 7, go ahead.
And, they, and well, I was just gonna say, and they had the fight earlier this
Yes.
year. So I mean,
There's potential suspensions
this is gonna be
looming.
a
There
banger.
are. There could be a situation.
Yeah.
Got a situation. Yeah, it's going to be a great series. I'm really excited. I think part of the issue for Charlotte is going to be their lack of size. They really have to hit threes if they are going to be able to compete against Detroit. That's also why I could see it going 5. It's just Detroit could really overwhelm them on the boards. I don't like this has been said by a few different people. I don't like the connotation that the lights were too bright for Khan. I don't think that's really what it is. Just had a bad game. Just had a bad game. I don't think the lights are going to be too bright against Orlando necessarily. I just think he just had a bad game. Sometimes you're off as a shooter. And if Kobe White had not been tearing it up, he would have been able to shoot himself or play himself out of that little bit of a slump. Hopefully I mean, you could make the argument that the lights were too bright for LaMelo. He just got to continue to play, and made some plays at the ends. Yeah, excited for this one.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be watching every Charlotte versus Detroit game. If not, just to see a slugfest and potential suspensions.
Yeah, I mean, a fight could break out at any moment. Now it's the
Big
playoffs now, so
Stu,
like they'll probably be a little bit, yeah, they'll probably be a little bit more cautious about actually getting into it. Like you might have to have like an actual security team watching Big Stu at all times, just in case he wants to run on the court in case something happens. I love that guy. I can't believe he went to the University of Washington. He's such a non-University of
he's
Washington
such a
type
meme.
guy. I mean, he's cool.
Like, God.
Yeah. That one where he's running at LeBron and like just running back, stiff arming people. Like, there's a lot of guys that they're getting held back and they're like, yeah, yeah, well, I'm whatever, and like, whatever. The smallest guy on the coaching staff is holding them back with one arm. Beef Stew is like, I want to rip your face off. I will get around whoever is in on my way
Getting
to get
drafted
to
to the
you.
Pistons
Like,
didn't
I
help
would be
that
legitimate.
mindset. It only made
It's
it
awesome. It's awesome.
harder. Yeah, that's must watch TV for me. I gotta say, I'm excited to see the Moose versus Duran matchup.
Yeah. We'll see. It's not actually a great, I guess, matchup for Charlotte, and I mean they got smacked 6 days ago by Detroit, but you know, it's we'll see. Playoffs are different. Playoffs are different. But you're not wrong though. This one really could be Detroit in five. And it's like, okay, well, there's just an experience and maturity and skill level that's off between these two teams. And even though some of the games are going to be close, they're not going to be
Well,
able to
we
really pull
advanced.
out any. But
Sorry,
I really hope.
I was just gonna say we advanced
No,
Charlotte
I was
without
just saying.
really even discussing the the game against the Orlando. Who do you see advancing between Golden State and Phoenix? Because the winner of that will play. They'll play Oklahoma City.
I mean, I want to say Golden State after last night, but did they unload the clip just to win that one game? I'll go Warriors. I'll go Warriors. I think Steph has another good game. I think they're like, look, we don't want to miss the playoffs.
10 matchup. That's
And I
very. I
think,
feel like that doesn't happen very much. And the fact that the 7 seed could ultimately miss, that's tough. Tough
yeah,
break for the
I saw some
Suns.
I saw some fun Suns fans complaining just about we were never lower than the 8 seed and we got to play the plan. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, like, yeah, it's a little bit stupid sometimes, but
I do kind of like the idea that,
you
like,
know,
look, you're under 500 unless you're like, if it's 8, not like if the 8 seed's under 500, normal play in. If you're the Warriors and you're 6 games under 500, you shouldn't even get an opportunity to play the Clippers or the Blazers or the Warriors. Like or the Suns. Like, I kind of agree with Suns fans. It's like, man, the Suns should have just got in, and then it should have been Portland versus the Clippers for that 8 seed. I think that should be a rule, because the
yeah,
fact that the Warriors now, just on the basis of, look, we just got to win this game and then we're in, it's kind of nuts. I agree with you. I think Steph and Draymond, Al Horford, Porzingis, some of the role guys that they have, pull out one more game just to get their fucking asses kicked by Golden State. Because I'm going to tell you, or excuse me, by Oklahoma City, because OKC,
okay, see,
they are going to just. I'm concerned for Steph's health. There's no way he's not getting hurt based
he's
on
gonna
their
be,
ability to just guard him. He's going to play till the wheels come off, and yeah, they're going to get their ass kicked.
yeah, Thunder and four. I don't care who comes out of this 8 matchup. I don't see them losing one game. I think especially for them, they know that if they can get through this in four and they can get through the Lakers Rockets in
It broke so
4 or
perfectly for
5,
them. It broke so perfectly
So
for them.
annoying.
San Antonio just giving
It's
away
so annoying.
that advantage by not playing Wemby that last game so that maybe they could beat Denver, force Denver to be in the 4 spot. Kind of nuts that they did that. Like, because now not only does Oklahoma City get the advantage of having to play the winner of Houston and LA, but now San Antonio's got to go through Denver before they play Oklahoma City if they get there. So that last game, that could
And
really come
and
back to bite the Spurs.
yeah, it annoys me a lot. I would have liked them to play in the conference finals. Yeah, no, it really changed everything up there. It makes the road for Denver incredibly hard. I mean, you've got the Rockets and Lakers to whoever plays the Thunder. I'm not sure it matters who comes out of that to play the Thunder. I think the Thunder also win that quickly. I think just because of the Lakers injuries, unless we get an update that they're getting their guys back like by game 3, I'm just gonna have to take the Rockets in 6
I
or
think even
so.
if the Lakers were 100% healthy, they went into that Oklahoma City game 100% healthy and lost by fucking 40. So like I don't see it. Unless DeAndre Ayton just fucking out of nowhere grows 2 more arms or something. I don't think they're gonna I don't think they're gonna be able to beat Oklahoma City. That's an interesting thought. What if somebody had 4 arms? How good at basketball would they be? Would it be like Wemby where they're just Yeah.
Well, defensively, because I think well, I guess if you learn to shoot with
You'd
4,
still
you
shoot
would
for
have
you'd
better
still shoot with
control
2,
of it.
but you'd have the advantage of using different arms at different I don't know. It's a stupid thought, but this is
I think
ridiculous.
defensively, defensively with 4 arms, you would be nuts. I mean, think of the passing lanes you
Yeah.
could get into. Think of
Yeah, no.
the deflections.
Anyway,
You could you could have 2 hands out to deflect a pass while also having a hand on the
yes, in
ball
the
and a hand
yes,
in front of the guy's
exactly.
face.
Anyway, so I don't that's
That's
the
the
next
next
Wemby.
that's the next
This guy's got
Wemby, yeah,
4
the alien.
arms.
This ain't then you got the old heads. This isn't right. In my day, everybody had 2 arms. I don't like what they're doing now.
That's fucking hilarious.
It's like first was the 3-point shot, now they got 4 arms. I don't know if I like it.
So, yeah, I think Oklahoma City's path's real convenient for them. I guess we'll just move to the Lakers Rockets now. Man, oh, yeah, you already did.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was doing.
I'm interested to see how LeBron handles this based on him already setting up the excuse with icing his pinky or whatever that was. I feel like he's gonna fucking mail it in.
Yeah, it seems like he doesn't wanna expend his body for a long series if he gets confirmation that neither of his guys are gonna come back. So, yeah, I think Rockets in, like, 6, and I think the Rockets are up, maybe 3-1, that even if they get Reeves and Luca back, it's gonna be like, okay, can they reel off 3 in a row straight off of injury? I think no, Rockets. Maybe the Lakers, like, get 1 and force it to game 6 or something like that, but
And even if Luca
no,
and Reeves come
I
back,
think the Rockets, at the very least, get it done
even
by
if
game
Reeves
6
and
at
Luca
home.
come back,
What?
they're not gonna be 100%. They're rushing back from
That's
injury,
what I
so
said.
it's like, honestly, the way to see the Rockets just sweeping them, which is crazy because of the way that the Lakers were playing 3 weeks ago, and the way the Rockets were playing 3 weeks ago. So, yeah, I think we both agree Rockets winning.
Yep. Okay. Nuggets, Wolves, the third iteration of this in the last 4 years. I mean, say what you will about fucking over the Nuggets for a harder path. At least we get a Nuggets Timberwolves series in the first round that should be good. I know the Wolves have gotten healthy and are playing better, but I think the Nuggets are on a mission, and the way they ended that regular season, they look really good right now. And they're also getting guys healthy, and now they just kind of need Peyton Watson to get back and get going. And you're getting a good version of Aaron Gordon right now. Murray's playing the best ball of his career. Jokic is back to looking like Jokic. And I know people think this might be like a really long series, but I don't know, man. I think Nuggets in 5. I think they are positioning up to win a championship this year. I think they look really good, and I think they know that this window is not very big, especially with injuries. And I just think they're going to be on a mission this year, and I think they get it done. I think they get it done very fairly quickly in five. It could go six, but I don't know. I also think they want revenge, and I don't know, man. I don't see the Timberwolves doing it this year. I think there's just it's a kind of a weird roster, and even though they got AO that has helped their offense, and they're built for the playoffs, and they always rise up a little in the playoffs. I'm just riding with the Nuggets on this one.
Yeah, it'll come down to, I mean, Jamal Murray, and then if he's playing like he played all year, which I assume he will be, but Aaron Gordon too. Like if Aaron Gordon's back to being like if he plays the way he did last playoffs with fucking one shoulder, I the Nuggets are gonna be a handful. I think Nuggets in five is probably right. I think, Ant had a tough end of the year
Yeah.
with the injury and then trying to fight through that and come back and um why isn't he eligible for all NBA if we're gonna make Cade eligible? Just wondering. I haven't dug into it yet. I'd have to see how many games Cade played versus how many Edwards played, but it's like if they're just saying, well, collapsed lung, that's like a freak injury versus like he hurt his shoulder or knee. It's like, well, that's I don't know. That's stupid. Anyway, um yeah, I think that the Nuggets are gonna win it fairly easily. I really hope if it's a 5-gamer that the 5 games are really good. Um, could go 6 as well.
I
Yeah,
think
could
they
go
will be
6 as well,
close.
just because,
Yeah.
like you said, the Wolves typically step up later in the year. I like their coach. Obviously Gobert, McDaniels. Yeah,
They
yeah,
match
they
up
have
well.
yeah. So, well, that's a fun one. Definitely gonna be watching all of those. Denver's playoff games.
One of the things for me that it comes down to is like they lost Nikhil Alexander Walker, and Gobert has taken a slight step back on defense. So I think they're not necessarily going to be able to put the Nuggets in kind of that torture chamber that they've been able to the last couple of years. So I think that's their defense has definitely slipped a little bit throughout this year. So I think defensively they're not exactly the same as they were the last couple of years that were such a matchup nightmare. Okay, for the final matchup in the West, we got the Spurs and Trailblazers. Um, I don't I don't think either of us think this is going to be close. The Spurs are a team with championship aspirations. The Blazers are a little bit just happy to be there after winning their play-in game. I think hopefully the Blazers can get one, but I think that the Spurs probably at the very least win in five. I do think Klingon is going to be able to kind of bang bodies with Wemby, and they will have the perimeter guys playing defense, Drew Holiday, Kamara, to give Castle a little bit of issues on that side of the ball. But on the flip side of that, Castle is also going to be able to give Drew Holiday and Kamara and whoever is bringing the ball up for Portland a ton of issues as well too. Also, one of the main things that allowed Portland to even win the play-in game was Denny driving to the basket. That will not fucking happen in this series. Wemby is going to block everything or deter anybody from driving inside. So I just think defensively, the Spurs are going to be able to handle whatever Portland throws at them. So I think it's going to be pretty miserable for Portland offensively throughout this series. And that's why I think that the Blazers maybe get one at home if like Jeremy Grant and Kamara and Denny are hitting their outside shots. But other than that, if the three ball is even average, the Spurs are just not it's gonna be a blowout in quite a few of these games.
Yeah, I got San Antonio winning in 5 and most likely being able to blow them out in a lot of those games. I think defensively, these teams are even. Offensively, Portland's just a lot more challenged than San Antonio is. It'll be interesting to see, in a game where maybe it is closer, what kind of workload Wemby gets. If it's like, look, you're playing 33, 34 minutes tonight, we could see some crazy stat lines from Wemby in the playoffs with the
Yeah.
minutes load that he might get, and the way that I think the offense is going to run through him. So I'm super excited. I think that series, along with the Denver Minnesota series on these weeknight games where it's like the double or triple header and they're the West Coast game. Those West Coast games are must watches for me.
Yeah, the West, a couple of those are going to be really interesting.
The
Yeah, I mean, the only thing
LA
I
and Houston series is not must watch because LA doesn't even have their full team together. And Oklahoma City versus whoever they play, maybe those first quarters, first halves are must watches, but I think that those are just going to be really ugly.
I think yeah, in that Oklahoma probably Warriors series, it's going to be like Steph and Draymond doing it one more time. Kristaps Porzingis, can he stay healthy? Help lead Boston to a championship. It's going to be this great promo, and then it's going to be 20-4 in the first quarter, and then it'll be a quiet crowd, and it'll be pretty uninteresting after that. No, the only thing with Spurs Blazers I wanted to say was just I think Klingon might be able to, with, being able to be more physical in the playoffs, might be able to just boss Wemby around for a bit in, portions of each game defensively, give him some shit to where he gets like frustrated and is maybe a little bit off. But other than that, I don't see Wemby having really any issues. And I mean, Portland's got good defense, but the Spurs, it's the ball movement, it's the right decisions, it's the slash and kick. I think this is a different beast, and yeah, I don't think this is going to be close at all. So,
If
all
Wemby
right,
is on, if he's on from three, I think Klingon might get played off the floor. Like, and I like
yeah,
Klingon a lot, but I just don't know if Wemby's playing center and he's just like, 30 feet from the rim, that kind of takes
running
away the
down.
whole idea of what Klingon is. And, we all know that Wemby can just rise up from that deep with even if a guy is on him. That's troublesome. If I'm Portland, I want to slow this down. I want to slow these games down. I do not want to get in an up and down contest and have Castle and Fox and Vassell and Johnson, these guys running up and down. None of that. And I also really need Wemby to not be efficient from three. Those are the two things if they're gonna push this series a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're right on that. You definitely don't have necessarily the guys to get up and down and run with them because that's not necessarily the way Denny plays. Drew Holiday can't really do that anymore. The only guy you'd have that would potentially be able to do that would be Scoot, and I'm not sure how much he's going to be able to be on the court either. So shouldn't be too long of one. Okay, there's our first round. I'm excited. I'm very excited. Just couple more playing games to decide who gets to get their ass kicked. Well, in the West, the East, like I said, Charlotte could give some haymakers. And then we're at it, boys and girls. Okay, Todd, do you want to do our all NBA to wrap this up?
I like I said, I just found out this morning that Caden and Luca are eligible. So if it was just Luca, I
Yeah.
could pretty easily just alter my teams, but I feel like I owe it to the audience to do a little bit more research into how I'm going to alter this because I got to make a decision on whether I want Brown to be on first team or not. I feel like I don't want to be a homer, but I need to look at the stats. I need to value. I mean, the first team was just chalk. I didn't really feel like I needed to do too much research on it with those guys out, and now I feel like it's first team. I really need to do the research
That's fair.
For Luca, Cade, and Brown. And Mitchell's
That's
he's
fair.
just a second team guy.
So, should I save it or should I just go with what I
I mean, you can
what
bring
with
up,
what I
you
did?
can kind of talk a little bit about it. I just can't give you like a definitive, but like I said, I can tell you
Yeah.
Mitchell's for sure a second team guy now.
Yeah. Mitchell. Well, you know me. So Luca made first for me. I still put JB on first team. Homer pick, sure, whatever. Best player on the number 2 seed and didn't have. I mean, look, the roster's good. We got Derek White, we got Peyton Pritchard. you go, all the thing, whatever. Not one other of those guys is going to make an all NBA team for the majority of people. I know some people are sneaking White onto that third team. I think because of Luca and Cade now, I can't. I think I did have him on my third team, and I think he was actually one of the ones that got kicked off once Luca and Cade got announced that they would qualify, which sucks for White because he probably deserves at least a third team All NBA at some point in his career. It's going to be tough now. This might have been the year to do it. But yeah, then I bumped Cade down to second team just because, look, if he's going to barely qualify and shouldn't even have qualified, I'm going to hold that against you. I know he was in the MVP race and first team pretty much all year long, but guess what? He didn't even hit 65 games. And when he was out, the Pistons kept on rolling. So, and that's also why I put Duran on the second team with him because I thought that was impressive as well too. It was between him or Chet, and I moved Chet down the third team because Duran had more responsibility with his best player being out, and I love Chet, don't get me wrong, but he's kind of a product of everything that Oklahoma City is, even though I do think he is the second best defender in the league. And then Mitchell went down to second team, and then Brunson and Kawhi, and then we'll save my third team for when you decide yours, and then we can talk about it later.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's just
it's
kind of how
it's
I went.
it's tough. Derek White, I couldn't get there with Derek White. He didn't shoot the ball
I
well
know.
enough as a guard. He made the all defensive team for me, or at least the second team he did, but I couldn't get there with the all NBA. Just felt like there were too many good, especially if you're including Luca and Cade. There's just too many good guards this season. Yeah, that just kind of says it for me. So yeah, we'll have to go over it maybe next pod. I'll definitely do the definitive research and come back. I did it all over the last few days, thinking that Luca and I either thought Luca would or would not make it, but I made sure, okay, even if he does, I can just quickly adjust it. This Cade thing just throws a monkey wrench in it, and I really want to it's not even like, oh, I want to get it right, because it's about your vote is your vote in terms of, look, I want to be able to make an argument for why I voted this way. The way that it plays out is the way that it plays out. But as long as each person that votes can like make a definitive argument for why they voted like that, that's what
Yeah, it kind of threw a wrench in everything. It would have just been easier to know from the get go. Cause yeah, and then there's some guys that could have been on that third team that just won't get any flowers this year.
Danny and probably I got to make a decision between Carl Anthony Towns and Johnson, but I can tell you for sure, Denny Advia is no longer on the All NBA. Unfortunately, he had a great year, but just got to see more, and team wasn't quite good enough.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough on the eight seed to get a guy in when you have this many stars and whatnot. And he missed some time as well too. He also, there was some bad press about certain things out there as well too. And he didn't do it consistently all year long. He just kind of had his spurts. But I like Denny a lot. I think he's definitely a guy you got to look for next year because there's a couple of these guys that could kind of fall off. Like, is this KD's last year making an All NBA potentially? Potentially, if you have him on your ballot, and then there's other guys that who knows if they stay at this level. Like, is this a 1 year thing for Duran, or is he going to be a perennial All NBA guy? Like, is Kawhi going to be there next year? So there's a couple slots that can open up for guys, and there's always variance and injuries and whatnot, and the 65 game rule that might take a couple guys out of it again next year. So we'll see. Um, but I'm just glad Jokic, SGA, and Wemby made it because could you imagine if those three guys' injuries would have been worse and we wouldn't have those three guys? I mean, dude, we'd have Cat making it again. We would have, which I mean, Cat
I had
never
Cat on my third team. He might be the second casualty of this
couldn't
basically
do
these
it.
two making it.
Couldn't do it with Cat. We'll talk about it next. We'll talk
Yeah,
about it
yeah, yeah.
next. But I thought the Luca thing maybe Cade kind of came out of nowhere because I don't know what his thing was.
Like
It was
they
just
said,
like, hey, this
like miraculous circumstances or some like basically crazy circumstances, and I'm like, he got hurt. There was no crazy circumstance. He just got hurt. Also, Luca would have made it if he hadn't gotten suspended, I think.
Yeah, that's the one that kind of pissed me off because I was like, I felt like the league should have held their foot down on that one and been like, no, dude, you got suspended because you couldn't stop yelling at the refs.
But I mean, it does feel silly that Luca wouldn't have made it. I don't know. Well, again, we'll discuss it, I guess, next pod. I'll be ready.
Miraculous circumstance. I'll tell you what miraculous circumstances are. The fact that your team is still paying Monty Williams a bunch of fucking money. All right, so just be glad that you don't have him as your coach anymore. All right, Cade. I like Cade. Don't get me wrong, but it was kind of bullshit. If you're gonna have a rule, just stick to it. Okay, we'll talk about. I mean, I'm excited. You
Me
know,
too. Best time of year.
next pod, we will be talking about playoff games that happened, not about to happen. So that's exciting for me. Anything else from Utah that we didn't mention? I think I got everything here. I don't know. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, if you could subscribe to the YouTube, the Fast Break with Jerry, so we can get to 50 subscribers. And then we can start going live right after games or during games or whatever. That would be super sick as well, too. So we can continue to grow. And I hope all of you listening continue to grow. Todd, good job by you.
Good job by you, bud. Love you guys.